The just like your character, Sharon joins season 2 of Ted Lasso. A lot of the interpersonal relationships have already been established. How is it joining the production? With a lot of this series cast having already gelled and developed a lot of their dynamic.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary, a little bit scary. Joining the show, as particularly when you're dealing with people like Jason, because he's just such an brilliant and amazing comedian. He's just so funny, and and you see this, you see the success of the first season, how everybody loves it and is rooting for this character, and then you come in, this psychologist who's kind of a bit more just observing, a bit more reserved, up against this character Ted Lasso. It was thrilling to be a part of it, and also a little bit tricky, and also feeling a little bit nervous about it. But I just had a ball. I had the best time.
Well, like you were saying, Sharon is kind of her perspective cuts through what can occasionally be a theater of the absurd with the rest of the proceedings in Ted Lasso. How is it bringing that more kind of stoic and, like you were saying, reserved perspective to the more wackiness of this football club?
For me, Sarah, it was hard not to get on board and join in with them. But for the character Sharon, I think it's what is needed. I think it's what is needed because I think we've seen in a lot of that in the first season, and we see Ted start to take a different journey, and then you want that to continue into the second series. Like we want to get a bit further in. We want to see the depth of these characters, and I think someone like Sharon coming in is really interesting. It's a really interesting point to start looking at the mental mindset of players and how that influences the game. I think that's a really interesting journey to take.
Well, you had mentioned Jason earlier, and it's not a combative dynamic per se, but Sharon certainly challenges Ted in ways that he isn't necessarily prepared to be challenged. And I
Yeah.
was wondering, how is it forming that rapport and that dynamic with Jason to figure those sequences out?
Oh, it was great because I feel like Jason kind of knew a bit more, and then you have an idea. He had an idea of where it might go, and then obviously when you get into playing with another actor, things can change and things you could find new things. So that kind of journey was really interesting. He was always really supportive and always kind of saying if I had any questions, I could come to him and ask him, "What do you think about this?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's try this." Trust your instinct and so forth. But I feel like as much as Ted is challenged, I feel like Sharon is challenged too. That seems to be the nature of this show, is that everybody starts off one way and comes out another way.
Well, for a character that is able to quickly kind of provide insight with a simple phrase or two, was there a line in the script or was there a bit of stage direction that helped really inform how you were going to approach Sharon? Like, oh, I know this character. I know exactly how I'm going to approach this character.
Oh wow. I think one of the things that was a really good insight for me, it was always a good measuring point, is when they said about Sharon being very kind. She's very kind and she's extremely good at her job. And Jason always said to me, she's she's like an assassin. She just comes in, wants to do the job, and I just thought, just keep remembering that's what you're there for. That's what you're there for. And yeah,
Well,
and there's
the
power in saying little, little, a little amount of, you know, instead of having loads of words to say. There's power in that.
was there anything within the because your character is kind of minimalist at the same time. She's very understated in a world of kind
Yeah.
of like bigger, colorful. Was there kind of any nonverbal ticks that you wanted to maintain?
Um, Non-verbal tics. I don't know. It's hard for me because I get thinking, I'm not doing anything. I'm really not. And they just had to keep encouraging me. No, it's fine at the beginning. And then you just get into the role of it because when everybody's doing all this, you just kind of, and I actually got, me and Sarah got a little bit of joy out of watching Jason play Ted and getting a little bit like, oh, what's happening here? This doesn't seem to be working with her.
Right.
It's fun.
Well, and I think that's my time. Sarah, thanks
Oh,
for taking the time to sit down with
thank
me.
you. Thank you very
Uh,
much.